So who are these consultancies? What do they actually do? Let's step back for a second. So sort of known as the big four, you've got Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young, KPMG. Now notice that Accenture is not in what's called sort of the big four. They're pretty close. We'll talk about them in a second. But these are the most significant and all moving into the marketing services space. You look at the market share of these four, the big four consulting giants have got just under half, 40% of the market. All sort of have a history, a background, an origin in accounting. And the top 10 hold about 52% of the consultancy market. Globally, the top 200 hold 80% of what is now a $125 billion advisory market. Just to give you a sense of the top 10, just to round out this list a little bit further. So we've got Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers. Deloitte and PricewaterhouseCoopers are often, Deloitte's been the largest firm in the space for a long time. PricewaterhouseCoopers every once in a while just passes them, but they're really the two largest. We've got Ernst & Young, KPMG, there's Accenture coming in at 5. We've got IBM. A lot of people don't know that IBM has a huge management consulting firm division within the company. McKinsey, the most famous one probably, not in that top group in terms of size, but still pretty significant, obviously. Booz Allen Hamilton, CGI and CSC are very heavy into tech, back-end hardcore technology, so they're very specialized in what they do, and they've been very successful as well. Strategy consulting in particular is considered to be the most prestigious, the highest profile work that a consultancy can do with a client. It's considered high-end and very, again, prestigious. It's the kind of work you want to have on your roster. 5 core disciplines or main disciplines that these firms are focused on, particularly from a strategy consulting perspective. It's corporate strategy, public sector strategy, mergers and acquisitions, organizational strategy, and functional strategy. Now you look at this even, and it's interesting as a number of agencies over the last 5, 6, 7 years have started to launch their consultancies, even some professing business consultancies, management consultancies, but I don't see any of them doing a lot of corporate strategy, maybe a little bit. Public sector, no. Mergers, M&As, no. Organizational, no. Functional, no. So we've got to be careful as an industry what we claim that we can do as compared to what the consultancies are actually up to. So let's get a little bit more specific, dive a little bit more into these guys. So let's look at Deloitte. One of the big ones here. Deloitte provides industry-leading audit, consulting, tax, and advisory services to many of the world's most admired brands. This is literally right off their website. You look at the different services here: risk and financial advisory, consulting, even their consulting human capital, not just strategy and operations, but human capital, technology, obviously tax, M&As, audit and assurance, analytics. They're all, like agencies are claiming, but the consultancies are launching massive data and analytics divisions within their firms. Let's read a little bit about what they do. Business model transformation consulting. This is at the core of a lot of the firms. Improve your strategy, improve your performance. I'll just read this here. Deloitte's business model transformation consultants are ready to help you capture new growth opportunities, reduce costs, improve efficiencies, and stay ahead of consumer preferences. Across a broad range of specialties, enterprise model design, global business services, outsourcing, real estate, and location strategy, we can help you set and execute your strategic vision and dramatically improve business performance. From strategy to implementation, we offer custom-tailored services and deep industry insights. That's a common theme that every firm focuses on. Deep industry-specific insights to tackle your most complex challenges. Not bad. Industries. Now, notice on the website, even right next to services is industries. They want a client, a prospect, to be able to come to the site and immediately click into their industry so they can speak to them in a category-specific business vernacular and the results and the KPIs that are unique to that category. So good, Accenture, as they've been moving so rapidly into the agency space. So the insights to know how to transform your company, the capabilities to actually do it. To transform your business, you need a partner, one who brings you new and innovative ideas every day, a partner with deep industry knowledge, there you go again, meaningful insights, and the broadest range of capabilities. A partner who works shoulder to shoulder with you to help you reach the next level of performance. With expertise in more than 40 industries and the best consulting talent in the world, Accenture Consulting is that partner. The type of work that we do with our clients, Accenture strategy shapes our clients' future, combining deep business insight with the understanding of how technology will impact industry and business models. Our focus on issues related to digital disruption, competitive agility, operating and business models, as well as the future workforce, helps our clients find future value and growth in a digital world. Why we're different? Accenture strategy understands the mechanics of organizational success. We have the people, skills, insights, and deep industry experience needed to shape new forms of client value. Now, a question we'll often ask when we're talking about the consultancies is asking, all right, how many of you do digital transformation? Now, I did take a little bit of a dig at it earlier, but I want to talk about why digital transformation has become a bit of a cliche that's thrown around a bit too loosely by agencies, just because an agency has built an app and maybe that app even connected to the client's database and maybe it was even connected to e-commerce. That is still not digital transformation. What I want to show you is a capability slide that we actually have from Accenture. Now, just before we get there, a little bit more information to set this up. Now, if digital can transform every part of your company, where do you start? It's critical to start with a partner who understands the intersection of business and technology. For more than 60 years, our consultants have designed and implemented profound business transformations in partnership with the world's leading companies. So I'm going to show you a slide that actually comes from Accenture, more focused on the digital side and digital transformation. I want to show you how they talk about it. And then I'd like you to assess, do you really do digital transformation for clients? So they call it the value tree of a digital business. Now, value tree is a type of modeling that consultancies use to map out every problem. They flow chart everything. And value tree is a term that's sometimes applied to that. So they look at value levers, objectives, investments in new digital capabilities, and ultimately the metrics that'll be improved. So I'm going to just pick a few examples here. So we're talking about the value of digital business, where Accenture can help a client grow through digital. So as you go up, you have growth through digitalization, so driving revenue, and then you have efficiency through digitalization, meaning reducing cost. So it's either improving revenue or reducing cost. Now, let's just, I'm going to pick just a few examples here and run through them. So one of the objectives, new customers. All right, it's a pretty common one. So the investments in new digital capabilities. So analytics driven and dynamic customer segmentation, improved digital customer experiences linked to segments, faster time to market with targeted offerings. The metrics that'll be improved, improve customer acquisition, reduce churn, sales conversion, customer profitability. So that's one, pretty straightforward. How about new pricing and earnings models? Let's jump down here a bit. New earnings models, including subscription, licensing, credit, freemium, rapid prototyping of earnings models on sample customers. Combine portfolio and digital and non-digital products and services with customized earnings models and pricing. What's improved? Customer acquisition, churn, cross-sell, upsell. So I've hardly even started to dig into this model. And I have not. We've worked with a lot of very sophisticated, very large agencies. Some have touched on pricing a little bit, nothing close to this level. Talked like they have, but not really done. it when you look at the work, you look at the case study. Let's look at a little more. We'll go down now into cost reduction. So asset utilization, another area of digital transformation. Optimized production inventory planning based on demand forecasting. Database preventative asset management, task automation optimization through digital technology, such as sensors. They got really specific there for a moment. So metrics that are improved, production costs, inventory costs. Let's go down to new cost models. Analytics-based commercialization, marketing, communications, trade promotions to target investments and track returns. Customer self-service, software opportunities to digitize the technology and infrastructure as assets. So metrics improve, decreasing percentage time spent on non-selling, non-sales activities, and percentage of customers that are able to handle things with self-service. There's just 4 of the areas, not to mention new and optimized products and services, new and optimized channels, process efficiency, agility. This is one slide from Accenture's capabilities. This is how they define digital transformation. Pretty sophisticated stuff. Now, part of what's going on here is the fundamental difference between consultancies and agencies is that agencies believe that creativity is the core ingredient. We believe that creativity is the most important factor in solving the world's biggest business problems. That's sort of that notion. It's not always that wording, not always said that way, but agencies love to go on about creativity. But creativity to what end? There's over 60,000 agencies in the US all claiming creativity. So it doesn't even separate you. The consultancies, however, believe that scalable strategic process that leads to revenue growth is the core ingredient. And guess which one clients are buying right now? And this notion of process, it's kind of an ugly word in the agency industry, but when you begin at a consultancy, you immediately go into training. You're trained on all the systems, on all the processes. They're codified, they're documented, they have training programs. And they believe in process because it increases efficiency. So you reduce the amount of wasted time, resources, money with anyone struggling to figure out how things will ultimately work. You get things done more quickly, more efficiently. Makes a lot of sense. You can increase scale. Individual consultants can handle more business because they're more efficient. It's not always a gong show or reactively firefighting, running from one client crisis to the next. And they can increase revenue per consultant that way through better process. More junior people can handle more senior work, increasing the margin per consultant. And it reduces the dependency on senior management. Senior management replace themselves with process. Now, I think sometimes process goes a bit far at the consultancies, but most agencies have zero process. Yes, agencies talk like they do, but a process, defining what that even means, it means codified, documented, and trained. We have a way of doing it here is not a process. If it's just in people's heads, if it's not codified and trained, it is not a process. They have a system for everything. They have a problem definition model. 7 elements in terms of how you break down and define a model and how you write up that definition of the problem that the firm is trying to solve. Most agencies get a verbal brief from the client, not totally clear on it, but don't want to upset the client, so I won't ask a lot of questions. I'll go off and run, come back, go up to the senior decision maker, only have to have that senior decision maker complain that this isn't the right solution because we weren't focused on the right problem. The consultancies start right out of the gate by being crystal clear on the challenge of the problem that needs to be solved. Now, I'm not going to go through all this. The point is they're very methodical, they're very thorough, they're very disciplined. In the McKinsey way, MECE, it's pronounced MECE, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. It's a way of thinking. It's a framework to help you quickly assess and diagnose a problem and get to an answer, a structure to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of your strategic thinking. pounded into every new associate's head from the moment they start. They have a model for how to prioritize your workload, for how to prioritize your effort against a client project, going back to the good old-fashioned 80-20 rule. It's interesting in that there's such a negative reaction to the idea of process in the agency business. But I think we don't necessarily have to go as far as the consultancies, but I think we need to go a hell of a lot further than we have now. We've got to strike that balance, though, of not stifling creativity in the organization, but thinking of it as a foundation, as a floor, as a way of creating efficiency. Process, in terms of the consultancies, look at this, process equals scale, and marketing technology, where they're coming in and grabbing a lot of the budget, equals scale. That's the kind of work that they're after ultimately. It's interesting, this was just recently in Adweek. A guy by the name of Brian Whipple. I actually worked with him about 16, 17 years ago. Now, I knew he was smart, but I didn't know he was this freaking smart. He is the CEO of Accenture. And it's interesting talking, I would definitely recommend reading the article in terms of how he thinks about the consulting business, how he thinks about the agency business, because he's been on both sides. Here's a little part from the article. I was interested in growing a scalable business in the billions, not in the millions, he says, of his decision to move over. And while I'm a fan of various agencies and the agency culture, they are by their very nature intrinsically non-scalable. In the agency world, the model is relying upon people that we hope are smart and motivated to know what to do just to get it done. As we do a lot of work with agencies, we'll often see that different account teams will have completely different ways of operating, some far more efficient than others. Can we at least level set? Can we at least get everyone working with a base level of efficiency, which will help scalability of the organization? And it works. Here's Bain talking about performance improvement. Bain is the best consulting partner for companies that are committed to quickly achieving and sustaining their full potential. Our clients realize, on average, results yielding 25 times returns on our fees and margin improvements of 7 percentage points within 2 to 3 years. Mic drop. Accenture Interactive wins Fiat Chrysler's global Maserati account. This goes back just a few months. Quote from Accenture, the success of the Maserati partnership will be judged on how many cars are sold. It's not about clicks and views. Our KPIs, key performance indicators, are about selling cars to the right audience. Period. That was the focus of their pitch to this client, selling the right cars to the right audience. And clients are buying it, literally. Article from Forbes here. The management consultants are very good at upselling. They already have C-suite access, and their upscale perception has much to do with taking the place of agencies as advisors to the CEO. In a fast-moving and often commoditized environment, the focus is on reinventing products and businesses. That is something that management consultancies have historically been good at, while ad agencies have largely been focused on marketing communications and have been less responsible for building experiences in things like e-commerce and less involved in revenue generation. But revenue generation is what clients are buying right now. Slalom, another big firm in the management consulting firm business, we had their CEO speak at our CEO Summit last year, right off their website. We created our customer engagement practice, this is their marketing practice, to fill the void between traditional consulting firms focused on IT implementations and traditional agencies chasing creative awards that deliver vanity metrics such as impressions or likes. Creative awards that deliver vanity metrics such as impressions or likes. That is them taking a direct aim at the agency business, saying, they're not even focused on the right stuff. Not sure why you're talking to them, because we're focused on more meaningful outcomes. What's happened here is the consultancies are better ultimately at articulating the business value of the marketing work that they do. They're better at doing that than agencies. All right. So that's a quick look at the consultancies, a bit of a force coming in. Now, at the end of this session, I'm going to bring it around and talk about the advantages that agencies have and the opportunities that agencies have. So I don't want you to get depressed that I'm painting a picture of Armageddon here. There is a lot of opportunity in all of this.